We are Profiteer, guys. Basically, we're gonna go ahead and introduce ourselves here. I'm Jacob Hoppenstead. I'm the project manager and one of the front end developers.
My name is Trevor Gross. I'm the Scrum Master, and I will be working on the database.
I'm Nathaniel Babian, and I'll be one of the developers on this project.
I'm Drew Reisner, and I'll be another developer, also focusing on front end.
Awesome. So the problem and the reason why we've come up with such a product is we've observed that there's so many people out there that aren't saving money anymore, especially in younger populations, because people just aren't interested or mainly incentivized to save money. And obviously, spending has that incentive because you get the product out of it almost immediately. And so people are drawn to it. Like, for example, nobody brings lunch to work or to school anymore. Everyone goes out and buys lunch. Starbucks is super expensive, and everyone goes to those kind of places to get coffee instead of making their own. Gym memberships, too, even ways to stay healthy, are getting more expensive. Interest rates are super high, and everyone is terrified of buying a car, let alone a house. So we wanted to create a solution to these problems that kind of brings all of this into one and provides that sort of incentive and instant gratification to saving money that people get when they spend.
Yeah. So to add on top of that, one of the ways that our product is going to help combat this problem is pretty much making a bit of like a application that almost gamifies the saving, the budgeting, and the finance tracking that will be able to allow the users to have that financial freedom in the future, to be able to make those purchases that they need to make, and just to really also teach lessons and kind of just make the process of financial like saving and preparing yourself for the financial freedom in the future kind of just a fun and engaging service that they can use and they can connect with their friends on. And basically will help them in the end quickly learn what it takes to ultimately become debt free and have that financial freedom in the future.
All right, so so here are the technical tools. First, the languages that we'll mainly be using for this project are JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. We expect to make use of the React, Node.js, and Express.js frameworks to begin building the website. For now, the only library that we know that we'll be using at this point is D3.js for visualizations, but we may come across other libraries that we'll need to use during this sprint. Finally, the tools that we'll be using for this sprint, and for most of the project for that matter, are MongoDB as our database, Plaid API to securely transfer users' financial information, GitHub for version control, Jira for managing and assigning tasks, and Figma for designing concepts of what the website will look like.
For our architectural design, Profiteer will be kind of the dashboard in the middle, and around it are all these different aspects. So up here on the upper left, we have financial info. So this will be pulled from people's financial accounts and investment accounts using the Plaid API. And then we'll also have down here on the bottom left our users data, which will be storing on our databases. And then we'll have our cloud services, which will be performing like computations and have data from our database. All that's kind of being pulled into the middle to Profiteer, our dashboard. But then things that are kind of going out is the social media platform. So that's where you'll be able to connect with friends, and there will be kind of a competition between them to kind of like that gamified aspect for you to challenge your friends to do better, and let you connect with others.
Okay, so for the risk management plan, here's just a couple of risks that we thought of that may arise during this sprint. So the first issue is that there could be bugs present in the app that could lead to the user losing money. Um, Now we say that this has a low probability of occurring because we plan to mitigate this risk by using encryption protocols when storing sensitive data, and also by verifying the integrity of our code by following the Scrum process for software engineering projects. Another possible risk that our platform could have is that it provides poor recommendations, which could cause a user to lose money. This is a risk because if for some reason our platform does suggest bad financial advice, which could come from many things, but hopefully it doesn't, the user could hold us liable. So to mitigate this risk, we will have all users agree to a terms and conditions form upon signing up for the website so that we can ensure that we are not held responsible for potential issues that could cause the user to lose money.
Yeah, so continuing with the different risks here. Another risk is a small user base within our application. But the probability of this is low. And ultimately, the effect of this would be obviously that the website is not profitable, that there's really no point for it to stay up and serve its purpose. But the strategy that we're going to put in place to ensure that this does not happen is marketing strategies on our target user base, which is mainly younger 20, 25-year-olds, even like so far as like 18, pretty much anybody that's making money that has money, putting these up on college campuses and creating appealing graphics through advertisements posted on social media to get those users to sign up. And also, of course, word of mouth between friends on social media will help it get it out there as well. Another risk is bugs leading to a non-functional app. The probability of this is kind of low to medium, but of course, the effect is the user will not be able to use the app if there's website breaking bugs, if they can't just do what they need to do on the app. But the strategy of this, of course, is using proper coding processes, ensuring good code, ensuring good documentation, checking between members, and making sure everything is up to date, and just writing good, clean code. So
Awesome. And a few examples of some user stories. Like, for example, if you were a college student and you were needing to pay off some student loan debts, and you'd be potentially looking for a platform that would help manage those loans and help be able to plan for being able to pay that off. And as part of Profiteer, we will provide a loan payoff time estimate and that option to be able to input the total loan amount and the financial information that goes along with it. For example, like paycheck information, which will be used in the calculation of the loan payoff. And then again, for example, if you were a 25-year-old working class American, you may have a stock portfolio that you want to include in your financial information because you want to plan for retirement. And so you'd be looking for potential things to just help manage that and help keep track of the tickers and see how everything as a total builds upon your savings. And as part of Profiteer, there will be that integrated through the Plaid API, the investments that can be viewed in their account, and you'll be able to track and plan for future savings in retirement.
For our first sprint, these are the bare minimums that we want to get done so we can have at least a functional website. So we'll have the user interface and then the Plaid API implementation. So Jacob and Drew, they'll be making decisions and designing the user interface and doing the implementation of that. And then Trevor and myself will be working on the Plaid API to be able to import financial accounts and investment accounts. So things that come later, like the social media platform or like budgeting and saving tools, those will come in a later sprint. But for this first sprint, it'll just be our UI and the Plaid API implementation.
And then for our sprint backlog for the next sprint, we calculated that our capacity would be about 48 and velocity at about 33. So we definitely have room there that we have in case of running into potential bugs or just hurdles along the way. We want to, assigning myself to this, is making allowing users to create accounts and link their data and be able to store all of it, because we will already have the ability to store financial information in the documents in the MongoDB database, but we're going to want to be able to add more functionality that users will be linked to that directly. We'll create a budgeting function that is an algorithm we can use for users to be able to track their spending and save for specific purchases. So if you're wanting to save up for a car, then we can help create a budgeting formula that will help plan out, okay, this is how much you need to save at each part. And that'll be for myself and Nathaniel. And then here for the budgeting UI,
Jake, me and Drew are going to be focusing on this. The UI, of course, is a very crucial part of our website. You know, giving those visualizations and those interactive features within the app to be able to, you know, make users want to keep coming back and have something, you know, pretty and enjoyable to look at when they're using our product.
yeah, and then going back to a spending limit, you can set, we want to create a feature where users can set limits per category and overall. So that like if you only want to spend this much per week on food, then you can set a limit and that will be tracked alongside your other savings, that so you can keep track of how much you're spending per week for food, or how much you're spending per month on, say, like recreation items or just stuff for fun. So you're not overspending in certain areas. And then going into notifications.
Yeah, so that kind of ties into the notifications. Like these limits that the users can set, the website will notify them upon logging in like a little like notification bell or something similar, that they're nearing these limits, or if stock that they're following has had large movement. So just things like that will be notified to the user initially on the website, but we do plan to send out email notifications in the future. So that brings us to the issues. So some issues that we discussed for this sprint are the API pricing. We don't know, or we know that Plaid includes free access to 100 live items with unlimited test credentials. However, there are other APIs that we may come across that we'll need to use that may not be free. So another issue is conflicts between libraries. So some future libraries that we may come across that we'll have to use could have conflicts with libraries that we have already decided to use, and we'll have to just double check before making use of these additional libraries. We'll also have to choose between MongoDB versus SQL, and basically we just have to decide between having a relational versus a non-relational database structure. Another possible issue is that the MongoDB free plan only includes up to 5 GB of storage, and we estimate that that'll be enough for our purposes, but we're not sure yet until we actually implement it and find out. And finally, time management. We don't know everyone's schedules, like with classes and exams and homework and other things. So some people may run into delays that will cause them not to be able to complete their tasks on time.
And here we have just a mock-up of what the landing page might look like for the website. And finally, for the next steps, so some of us in the group, of course, might be more familiar with React and JavaScript than others. So for those of us that need a little bit of a refresher, or need to learn a little bit more, go ahead and learn React and JavaScript. Of course, for the actual organization of our files and our source code, we want to get that situated. And we want to, on this kind of the same lines of just making sure we're all on the same page, we want to read the documentation for the different APIs and technologies that the different person in the group is responsible for, and make sure we understand that correctly and effectively. And finally, designing the website pages. In addition to the landing page, we want to just design the other different pages that we're going to have on the website. And of course, in the end, when we have this all said and done, we want to actually begin coding and begin work on the website. So yeah, so yet again, we are Profiteer, and thank you guys for taking the time to listen in and hear a little bit more about what we're trying to do here.